rational, disciplined man sign a contract where the other party can break it whenever they feel like and still legally take work? That's not love, that's insanity. That's crazy. Because in the United States, 40-50% of all marriages end in divorce. So that's not rare, that's a coin flip. And here's the part that young men need to choke on. Nearly 70% of all divorces are initiated by women. Think about that. Most men aren't walking away. They're being removed from the deal. And when that happens, the government doesn't ask any questions. It doesn't investigate effort. It doesn't audit behavior. It just says, cool, split it. Half the house, half the equity, half your retirement. Sometimes your future earnings. Sometimes limiting access to your own kids. All because you signed a piece of paper that assumed that everybody in the relationship would behave forever. That's crazy. That's insane. Marriage is the only contract on planet Earth where the person who breaks it can be rewarded more than the person who upheld it. Quit a job, don't get a paycheck.
And I'm reacting to this in real time, so I'm going to give you my very authentic thoughts and my very unbiased thoughts when it comes to this particular topic, because statistically I've researched this myself and he's actually speaking facts, right? 40 it's actually over 40%. More than half of marriages end in divorce, and majority of them are initiated by the woman. Now, what a lot of people need to understand is family court laws were written in a day where women didn't have the rights and privilege that they have today. And it has not been rewritten since then. I don't have to lie or make this up. Literally, we can go down history. We can look at the statutes, so on and so forth. Divorce benefits the woman. Hands down. No questions about it. Family court laws benefit the woman. Everything he said, man, even when you get a divorce, where are the kids going majority of the time? Where are the kids going? Going with the mom. And there's nothing wrong with kids going with the mom. But what I don't like is when we have women today that abuse the system or manipulate the system to get what they want to hurt said person they were with. We know people leverage kids. They leverage, like he said, the finances. I never even understood alimony. I'm going to be completely honest. Everybody has the right to choose for themselves, regardless or not if their spouse wants it. So if I've been married for, let's say, 10 plus years, right? And my wife just did not work because I was just a alpha provider. She didn't have to work. When we get a divorce, why am I now responsible? Why am I now still responsible for taking care of you? While in the event you can go out and do whatever you choose to do, but I have to send you a check every single month like child support to take care of you. Man, I'll tell you guys a story, man. I was working in college one time. I was working in college, and one of the ladies I was working with, she was an older lady. She was in her 50s, and she was telling me how she had a boyfriend. And they've been dating for a very, very, very long time. And I was like, okay. Do you think you'll ever get married, again? And she was like, oh, God, no, I would never let him marry me. And I was like, oh, why not? She was like, well, if I get married to him, my alimony stops and my benefits. If you're a capitalist, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. You're just taking advantage of the situation that's given to you. But morally, is it right? I have to preach this all the time. Just because it's written in the laws and the legislature and the statute, is it morally right to do some of the egregious things that we do, men and women? Is it morally right to take advantage of a situation? So when he talks about this, he talks about giving up half your retirement. He talks about half of giving up half your net worth. There needs to be changes made in place. Now, obviously, there are some minor changes, like if you cheat, if you have an affair, obviously, the courts don't reward cheaters. And I'm pretty sure somewhere, somehow, somebody be able to come up with a story and tell me, well, Todd, no, here's an example of how I caught such and such cheating and they still got half. Right? Everybody's situation is going to be different because ultimately the decisions that are being made are by judges, and judges are humans, and humans are not perfect. we see messed up rulings all the time. We're like, what? How could that even be possible? And we feel like we're powerless because it's a judge. That's not usually the case. I hate to say it, but I feel as if we remove the finances out of the situation, divorce rates would be a whole lot less. Remove asset division out of the equation, divorce rates will go down. I promise you.
Breach a business deal, you get sued. You walk away from an investment, you eat the loss. But marriage, you can leave and still send the man the bill. Now, I already hear outrage forming in the minds of women. What if he stopped doing what he did in the beginning? What if he cheated? What if he emotionally checked out? Cool, but let's stop pretending this is a one-sided fairy tale. It takes two people to tango. Let me ask you a question. What did you do to make him stop wanting to you? When did sex turn into a weapon instead of connection? When did respect turn into constant nagging? When did you become entitled? When did he go from being your man to being behind the kids, the dogs, your phone, your stress, your crazy moods? When did you stop serving this relationship and just think you're just going to kick back and collect all the benefits? When you quietly became the provider, the protector, the fixer, the emotional punching bag, the walking ATM, well, you brought nothing but expectations and complaints. And then you wonder why it failed.
And vagina. Hold on. A lot of women, a lot of women brag that they bring vagina as well.
I think I'm going to blow up my family today. They drift after being ignored. They disengage after being disrespected. They shut down after being treated like a utility instead of a man. And instead of self-reflection, the story's always the same. I wasn't happy. I deserved more. I outgrew him. Funny how personal accountability evaporates right when the system rewards an exit. And that's the real issue. The system doesn't care who stopped showing up. It doesn't care who withdrew the intimacy. It doesn't care who poisoned the household. It just redistributes assets and moves the on. That's not partnership. That's legal roulette. So read your contract, understand the incentives.
Yeah, and that's why I incentivize men and women prenuptial agreements moving forward. We're just way too knowledgeable now. We're not going to make no dumb mistakes like we did in the past, right? We're all getting prenuptial agreements with very, very, very specific verbiage in them. Marriage nowadays is a business. It's a business. So you got to be careful with who you marry. And that's why I always tell men, don't lead with your wallet. Now, you can never really fully understand how a person's going to change over the course of time. Feelings change. Women outgrow their men, as he states. But ultimately, marriage is just the world of the unknown. You could be married today, divorced tomorrow. There's nothing you could do about it. If you're the man and you're the provider, prepare to lose half your stuff if you don't have a prenup in place otherwise. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. But hey, man, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Is he valid? I think he's cooking. There's nothing he really said that was biased or inaccurate. And I think a lot of men are bringing a lot of light to this situation over the last couple of years. A lot of men, honestly, and they've done research on this, men aren't getting married as much as they used to. And it's not the fact that men are scared of marriage, they're scared of divorce. I love you. I appreciate you guys continuing to rock with me. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.